This is Real Talk Vlogs with Jack and Steve.
Understand why it's doing that. Like, I can't turn anything. I don't have anything to turn up on my end to make it louder for you.
I don't know if it's you.
Maybe it's
Like-
just dude, it's just a different glitch. We now add that to I'll put it on my list of things to note.
I literally had to turn it up with the TV remote.
Well, what level was it on the TV?
I didn't realize I could have a separate volume when I was using my...
Is this an operator error thing?
Apparently, yeah.
So, I'll be honest, I turn my TV down when we're doing this so I don't get the back feed through the mic, which OBS right now is not detecting any of it with that new button I found, noise suppression. Thanks, Discord, for hiding that. What's wrong, dude?
Yeah, I get irritated because we start every fucking episode with talking about what our audio is fucking doing. And I'm tired of talking about what our audio is doing or why we're having audio problems still in season 2, episode 2.
Technically, did we just have an audio problem or did we just have a user input error?
I haven't picked this remote up off of that part of my desk. I haven't used this remote. This TV has been set up as the same exact settings. I moved it from downstairs to upstairs. We used it.
Is that your primary source for audio?
Is what my primary source for audio.
The TV?
No.
Oh.
It's a monitor. I've had it set up and using it as a monitor.
My bad. I thought my understanding when you just popped up the remote was like you've used it before as...
No, it's been sitting on my desk in case I ever want to use this TV for anything other than a monitor, and I don't because it's not hooked up to anything.
Fair enough. All right.
I'm a big fan of leaving things the way they are as they work. So when shit decides it's going to work some completely way different when I haven't changed a thing is like epically annoying.
Okay.
But, you and I don't have to talk about an intro this week either because the pre-recorded intro has already played. Your little animated car is skidded across the screen. It's picked up our faces and rolled across to the left.
I seen that. I was watching it like 3 or 4 times right before. I love it. The only thing it is missing, technically we still kind of need an intro because we played the animated intro, which is great for our visual audience, but our listening audience still doesn't have that connection factor. You know?
You're not.
And
You're not.
So with that said, I'm going to take a few tips out of something I was watching today for content creation and things that said you got to get those people in there and grasp onto them. So guys, here it goes. Thank you and welcome to another upload of Real Talk Vlogs. This is a new season. We are coming live from my basement, Steven's attic. And on today's upload, we're going to talk about situational prep, better time management, the Daca rally and Audi going crazy. Steve and I always have our little weekly chit chat where we figure out what's new in each other's lives and just vent about anything that comes from the corporate industry world. I don't get those luxuries. Amen. And we're going to add a new segment of business. We're going to call this the business crypto. What would Jack do in 1 minute with money? Because I can get out of control and Steve has finally entered the crypto market.
Time out. This is a new segment. We don't have a name for it yet, but essentially we'll get to how my week's been, and in parts of that we'll discuss this. So crypto, racing, burnout, time management. We got a general conversation this week because there's a lot going on. We're at the beginning of a new year. A lot of people making New Year's resolutions and things such as that. And we're not going to jump down that path. We're just going to tell you what we're doing wrong. So,
oh, dude, the New Year's resolution hole is so funny. I got friends and like, can you imagine all the gyms that get full, fresh memberships that come in? Like, how many people financially forget that they're like, oh yeah, I did that. Like,
I I don't know how you financially forget. I
you
know I spend
prepay
more money
six
than
months
I
for
should,
it.
but I know exactly how much money I've spent.
I mean, there's people out there who say, "Oh, well, Gold's Gym does what is it? Like you buy a year for $150, and then you financially forget about it because you were going and you lost the consistency to keep going, and well,
Yo,
you
honest,
wasted your money."
Planet Fitness, right?
Yeah.
I don't. I think they're nationwide. I don't know. They're in a lot of the places I travel,
Well, that's
and I
nice.
don't have this. I don't have this set up anymore. But you can start and cancel at any time. So like, if you're gonna start traveling, and maybe you don't work out as much as you should, but you like to shower every day.
I see where that's going. Keeps you out of the truck stops.
Yep, and you have a
Speaking of which,
membership
truck
card.
stops do have fantastic showers. I mean,
Yo, no lie, they do.
like
They
for
do.
real, for real. If you're doing like a cross country drive, Steve is a very veteran. I have not yet partaked. I have not.
Dude,
But
we've done a bunch of miles, and so you learn little road trip tricks along the way. You've done some miles though, man. Don't lie.
I mean, I have, but I don't feel like I've done like I haven't done a like tour de states. I haven't
Oh,
done the loop. I want to do the loop.
what do you mean, like around?
Yeah, like you have. Okay, so like one trip, you have gone farther than I have in one solitary trip. The farthest
Okay.
I've drove is Colorado. I have not gone any
From
farther.
dessert.
I've been all the way to Virginia, but I haven't actually gone to the ocean on that side.
Yeah, that sucks so bad because you were look when you come in September, October, whenever Race Wars is this year. I got to talk to my people about that. Um, Whenever you come this year, let's plan a trip to so you can go put your feet in the Atlantic Ocean.
Bet, bet.
Because it's like 2 hours. It's 2 hours east of here.
Well, not, I'm gonna just put this out there ahead of time, but correct me if I'm wrong. How far is the Smithsonian from you? Just how far is it?
Which part? Which one? Do you want to go? Do you want to go like
Aviation?
the Uvar Hazy?
Yeah,
Is
like
like 8 minutes from my house.
really?
Yeah, dude, I live in an
Wow.
amazing part of the world in terms of historical
Are you?
museums and like think tourist attractions and stuff.
I
So
never, dude. I'm so glad we didn't. I didn't know that last time, but that
you know,
makes me.
that time aside, my problem is I have gone and seen most of the things in the area over the years, but most of it's years past. And like a lot of it they update. So I haven't a lot of stuff I haven't been to recently and I really should
Well, this year
go
I'm.
because the Space Museum is amazing.
Uh, well, reason I'm bringing this up is because the big trip to back to you would be Virginia. Would be Race Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And the time frame that I'd be coming out, I'm gonna talk to Megan still, and we're trying to just bring the whole crew, like the whole
Okay.
crew
Yeah.
here.
Dude, there's the Luray Caverns are down this way. The Shenandoah Valley Endless Caverns are here. Um, those are both really cool. There's amazing state parks. Like there's a whole like 3 day tour in West Virginia of the waterfall loop, and you see like 11 waterfalls in 2 days worth of driving.
Wow,
Yeah, yeah, it's
wow,
sick.
that sounds like a great time.
Yeah.
All right, we
Um,
tangent there. I'm sorry. That is a byline of our channel, by the way. I've something I've been doing
yeah.
on my what?
No, I was just agreeing, man.
Oh,
Our listeners are here. They're along for our ride. So
yep.
sometimes we get a little crazy and go sideways and get to started off a little not straight, but whatever. We're here. We are. We're
We have
going.
ADHD. We have notes to keep us kind of on track of where we want to go. Oh,
Notes. There's notes.
dude.
True. Uh, How was your week, man?
Dude. Interesting. I'll tell you what, the one thing that I hate the most about, not hate, my week was good overall. Like, I'm still alive, I'm kicking, I've got some money in my pocket, I fixed some more cars, things are out the door. You know, I have nothing to complain about except for one little bitty thing.
Okay.
And that is people not taking money when you think they normally would. Here's what I'm getting at. I ordered parts from Audi, right?
Okay.
Special order parts. When do you think they should charge you for 'em?
When you order them.
Right. The moment you you place the order, right?
Hi, Audi. Yes. Steve. Yes. Parts. Okay. Credit card. Yes. Okay. Great. Thanks.
Okay. And if they did
Charge
it, and
delivery.
if they don't charge it right then and there, you would expect them to, if it was days later, you would expect,
Okay, clear next business day, probably.
okay, 3, 4 days have passed, it hasn't gone through. Never charged.
Okay.
My mind, oh, they'll just, all right, I'll pay for it when I get there, I guess. You know, they need a card or whatever. These service writers, I don't know who did, ran it on like the middle of a week, right? Screwed up my entire bank account on a Wednesday.
See, stop. You're gonna get.
I'm
You're gonna
screwed
get.
up. Don't
You're
get
gonna
me
get
wrong.
disagreement, Steve. Here.
No, there's.
I don't want to hear about how this is Audi's fault. If
It's not.
you told them to run the card, like
I
I
mismanage
understand they might
funds.
not have run it at your convenience, but this is for our Spotify listeners. I'm giving Jack the angry looking through the camera look to be a more responsible adult.
You're right. I'm not arguing that I overspent or mismanaged funds. I definitely would have technically mismanaged
Yeah,
because
it's a timing thing. I understand.
yeah. Well, the money was there when I ordered everything, and then it was like, oh, what? $33 too much. Anyway, I got the bank to turn it around. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
here's what happened. No, here's where it gets better. Here's where the fun part happens, right? So they withdraw their money on Wednesday. You asked me about my week, so I'm telling you what happened.
I did. Tell me about it, man.
So they did that, and then Friday, which was the 5th, I had, spent some stuff for the shop I had to buy, like 5 or 6 things. Each one of those took a $25 NFT hit, insufficient fee hit, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know it yet. Did not know it because
Yeah.
I didn't know. Here, dude, 90% of the time I don't look at my bank account. Like, I know I have enough. This is what I need. I know it's there. I don't check it every day.
Note to our listeners: Steve's a hawk. Looks at his bank account every morning as part of his wake up procedure.
You need to be reminded how much money you have every day.
No. No. Look, I've spent way too many days of my life not having enough. And now that I have some, it is a habit I will not give up.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All I'm getting at is I had to go to the bank, got them to reverse a few fees, explain to them what happened. Because Saturday morning I went and I got my paycheck, my PPP loan for my company. That was I got that thing in the mail the other day saying, "Hey, it's paid off." I'm like, "Oh, cool! The government did something right." It didn't all go to billionaires. Just know.
It did, though.
Yeah, a lot of it did, but just know for the listening audience that some of it went to a normal Joe, just trying to make a living out here. Okay, while overdrawing bank accounts. But that's how I noticed it. Like I went in, logged in, I was like, "Oh shit! Well, how'd this happen?" And that was on a Saturday, so it was like I guess the best takeaway here is A, don't overdraw your bank account, and B, as soon as you do, go in Monday morning, first business day, get it squared up, and talk to a branch manager. A lot of times if you explain the situation, they are happy to help. They don't want to take money that it's like that. Like, it's not like I'm doing it all the time or anything. Like, accidents
Yeah,
do
that's
happen.
the thing. It's like if you're in the bank for the fifth Monday in a row,
Mm.
going, yeah, but this other thing happened. They're gonna be like, okay, look, dummy,
Oh.
this your fourth Thursday night trip to the strip club. We can see where you're spending the money at. Like, but sometimes
Totally.
stuff happens,
Totally. Oh,
and
I was
especially
joking with the.
especially when you're running like small business and the transaction pace is not steady.
Yeah. I actually made a joke to the branch manager. I was like, so I just used all 6 of my favors up in one lump sum. She's like, yeah. I was like, well, I guess it's better to do it this way than spread them all out, you know?
Right. Shoot,
How was your week
man.
though, bud? I mean, that's how mine's been.
Look, my week has been very exciting. And my week, the way it has played out, has led us to most of our topics for tonight. And so,
Yeah.
um, for the most part,
How's
my week was good. I survived. I'm here. Um, I get the ooh wah wah terrible news out the way. I tested positive for COVID as of yesterday with a rapid test. There was an exposure for somebody at work, so
mm,
I am in the good old quarantine.
can can I give us
Um,
one of these for something on that?
yeah.
Can we go on can we chit chat for like 2 minutes about the money grab that comes along with the COVID tests? Though I was telling you about it earlier. Like, that
Oh
bugs
yeah, and
me.
I 100%, I 100% agree.
Like,
The I from my perspective on this, people have to get tested to go back to work, is what the rules say. Right? You've got to get tested to go back to work. Okay, that makes sense. We don't want people spreading this shit around.
yep.
Tests are $25 a piece. That's not a ton of money, but some places are saying, "Yo, if you're not vaccinated, you need to get tested every week." Okay, shoot, that's a cell phone bill.
Yeah, that's $100 a month. Just
That's
call it.
is this a cell phone bill for the rest of my life? Is this my work permit fee
I mean,
for
it's
the rest
thirteen
of my
hundred
life?
dollars a year.
I'm talking about $100 a month. People,
R-
there are places in which you have to get a test a week
Right. So
if you are
52 weeks times
vaccinated.
25 is 1,300. We're not even counting Uncle Sam in
Like
there.
1,300. I was saying the $100 a month,
Hmm.
but yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, here's the wild part. When you take your number, like you have, if you just take, excuse me, when I was explaining, when Steve and I first got on this topic earlier, I told him, I was like, look, how many people are there in the United States? Right? I was like, there's
330 million people,
330,
345, something like that. 300.
we'll call it 330 million, right?
Mhm.
You take that number and we'll divide it by 2. And we're going to say 165 million people are in corporate working environments that are obligatedly, that are in some way reporting to the government agencies, right? Like, is that a good way of saying that?
Uh,
Mandated?
you're saying that half the population works.
Yes. That
Okay,
works
we're
in
gonna
corporate
we're gonna accept
structure.
that as a we're yep, that's fine. Half the population works.
Okay, so half the population works in corporate structure. So that's 165
Works.
million,
Period.
huh?
Works. Period.
Works. Yeah, works. Period.
I can't give you more than that number, but half. We'll go with half people work. Yeah.
Half half of the people work in some way,
Yeah.
shape, or form. So to rough number this, we're you divide that number in half again. That's 82,500,000 people. 82,500,000 people. And I'm gonna take a gander. That's not a lot of people that you can say work in a corporate industry. That's McDonald's, that's Amazon buildings, that's
Dude, what?
federal.
FYI, that's a number you can look up.
Oh, I'm sure it
You don't,
is.
you don't have to be like, oh, about half. Just, it. It's a number you can look up. What are you trying to work out?
Here's what I'm getting at. If you take that number, 82 million people, right, and you multiply that by the cost of a test, right? These people, like people who work in these businesses, you're saying they have to get them to go back to work. Just one of.
No, I'm not saying everybody does, but if you're exposed to somebody that has had COVID, you've got to get tested whether whether you are feeling sick or not. You have to get tested because you've been exposed to this other person that's tested positive, right? In a lot of places, if you are not vaccinated, you have to get a test every whatever fixed period of time. If you are vaccinated and you're exposed to somebody that is sick, you have to get tested to go back to work. So like,
I mean, here, if my quarter of the population works in an environment that requires them to get a test, I mean, still that manufacturer made $2 billion. I'm getting into
yeah,
the COVID test business.
my
What's the
COVID
initial
test was
setup?
made in China.
Oh, they are?
Yeah,
All right, even better. So we can have a 3D printer over there, make a concrete factory that's powered by little children, and we'll freaking import it from Indonesia or someplace. I mean, it's not racist
yeah.
or hate crimes. I'm already yellow, right? Like
What are you talking about, man?
I don't know. I'm just saying. Like
I'm not trying to import any other thing from any other country than what we really should have to. We've already imported COVID here.
yeah,
Let's stop importing things here.
for real. How many if oh, I'm curious how much that would be now. What'd we say? 52 weeks times 24.99. That's $1,299 times 80 million people.
You're saying if everybody that worked had to take a test a week.
Yeah, every week. 103. Wait a minute. 100,000 103 billion 900, just call it $104 billion
Yeah.
off a quarter of the population if they had to do it ever.
And this is it's not,
Dude, that's
I'm not saying it's something that we shouldn't. If if you have COVID, you should not be going to your place of employment and spreading COVID to everybody that you work with, right?
right.
That is something I think, regardless of your political beliefs or whatever however you feel about society, we can all agree on that. If you have this sickness that can kill people, you should not go spread this sickness to other people, right?
Agreed.
Okay, agree. If you go unknowingly, you shouldn't feel guilty about it. But if you have taken a test that says, yo, you have COVID, and then you go somewhere, maybe feel guilty. If you go somewhere and then you later find out that you went with COVID unknowingly, don't feel guilty. It
It's happening
happens.
every day.
Yeah, like
I mean,
this is a disease that is like our condition, that virus that is spreading itself to. We are the petri dishes.
yeah.
So
Like, if you ever
uh,
seen that germ dust thing in grade school where they show how, like, you'd be surprised the stuff that's in the air and around.
yeah,
But dude, it shouldn't be relied on the person. Like businesses that say you have to do those every week need to be footing that bill or compensating.
yeah, dude,
That's my opinion. You can have yours, but that's mine.
I have I will always feel as though I am fat cattle on a fun farm via taxation. Like regardless of how you find what position you find yourself in life, there is some extra fee or extra cost or extra thing that is going to be tacked on to every piece of your existence that's going to cost you more money.
I'd agree
Right?
with that.
So whether you are waking up in the homeless shelter, there's cost to that. Or if you're waking up on high on the hog, there's extra cost to that. Right? And so the government's always going to get theirs. And so if there's sales tax on the COVID tests, the government wants you to take as many tests as possible.
True. And see, that's a whole nother game then. See, that's a whole nother thing. So businesses directly wouldn't want, wait, because the business can write it all off. That's, I still
Well,
don't
I'm not
think
going to get into taxation inside your little head there, Jack, right now. I'm not trying to figure out what corporate America's writing off. I'm just saying that, like,
everything.
there's a fee. Everything has a cost. Everything has a cost. And so if it's tests, if it's vaccines, if it's whatever, everything has a cost. And so we as the end user, the consumers of the world, are going to bear that cost at the end of the day. Regardless of where the cost comes into play, we're the ones bearing it. So we have to buy tests. We have to be tested so we can go places. It sucks.
Yep. All right. Now that we've done beelined off that tangent, how was the rest of your week? Now that you've been stuck at home with COVID.
Well, I'm not. I'm just now starting my stuck at home time frame.
Oh, when did you find out officially?
Yesterday.
Oh, that's Monday.
Yeah. So Friday, I start, unbeknownst to the start of my day, started a camping trip, and it wasn't really planned. So
I'm laughing.
Heidi and I closed on our property, that our little retirement spot, future retirement spot, and we went and picked up the keys, and we headed out to where this property is, and it's in the mountains. It's off the beaten path.
I'll put a picture up here on Google Maps of where it's at.
It's in another colder climate zone than where I live now, right? And being as it's January, we made sure that the Navi tires on the late 90s, early 2000s 4Runner that she has were totally knobby, and the air was right, and we had a blanket in the 4Runner, and we had some winter gloves, and we had some hats and some coats and some, whatever.
So you were well prepared, it sounds like, for a nice little outdoor adventure on the side of a highway.
Yeah, I mean, not really on the side of a highway at all. We'd actually booked a hotel room with the intention of going to the property, giving a little check, going to the hotel, coming back, right?
I was being
Getting
sarcastic.
keys, but the driveway to the property is about 3/4 of a mile from the road to the shop, right?
Yeah.
And there's about 600 feet of elevation change.
How much snow did you guys get?
Here in Northern Virginia, we got like 8 inches, and where this property is, they got 5-ish. But
that's still a lot of snow.
Yeah, and so we went in the 4Runner instead of the RSX or the van or the Golf. We went in the 4-wheel drive, off-road capable Toyota 4Runner, and it did great. It did everything we asked it to do until it didn't. And it's no fault of the 4Runner at all. It is the fact that under the 5 inches of snow was ice. And so when we went into the property, we drove, and it was essentially on top of the snow, and it was packing the snow down. We drove down the driveway and up the driveway and up to the shop, parked the 4Runner right outside the shop, walked around, checked the shop out, looked at all the stuff, hung out, celebrated a little bit, looked around, enjoyed it. Got in the 4Runner, went to leave, turned around, off we went, We get to essentially the low spot of the driveway, and it's a little hilly, okay? Like, it's West Virginia. It's a little hilly, but it's not like steep cliff mountainside, right?
All right, hold on. Rewind. Like, for mental freshness, the two brothers that used to drive the RSX and the Honda back in there, is it kind of like their driveway? Like, is that underneath of it? Is it like a gravel back road driveway?
The road itself, like the road is
Yeah.
not gravel, it's paved. Okay, but
Oh,
the way that we have the driveway is gravel and then some dirt and gravel. Right? It's gravel and dirt.
okay.
It's an old mountain road that is now just our driveway. Okay. And but we're all talking about January. It's not bad. It could have been double curbed and paved and had all sorts of shit. Ice does not give a shit. Okay. Like that's where
Facts.
the problem lies. Okay. It's not the snow or the condition of the road. It was that under the snow it was ice. So um in in we had traction boards that Heidi got me for Christmas, right? And they were in the van. And I was like, it's snowing out there. Let's put these in the 4Runner. Probably won't need them. It's a 4Runner, has 4-wheel drive low. So at one point we're like trying to like slip up the ice, got these traction boards down, and like rocking the 4Runner onto the boards and then driving 3 feet and off of the board again, and then moving the boards up the hill, right?
Yeah.
At one
Yeah.
point, like it she goes Heidi's like creeping up and gets the 4Runner off the front of these boards and is like giving a little gas to go up the hill. And I'm like bending over to pick it up. And she's like, it sounds like I hear wheels spinning a little bit. And I'm like, oh, she's up the hill. Well, her wheels are spinning, but she's coming back towards,
Oh.
right? Right.
What?
So I grab, I like, I'm in the middle of grabbing this board. So I kind of like lean back and I've got this board in my hand. I like fall down the hill that is the outside edge of the driveway,
Oh shit.
right? Because the driveway is essentially going across like a hillside,
Okay.
right? So on the outside edge, it's steep down, and on the inside edge, it's steep up. And she's sliding by me, oh, and proceeds to like shimmy the front tires in a fashion that the rear of the 4Runner like goes into the inside ditch, right? Dude, so we're like, all right, let's leave it here. Right? We turned it around, tried to go up the other side of the hill, like back towards the shop, but essentially where we had driven already, the driveways wasn't really wide enough to get out of our own tracks too far.
Yeah, before
Right?
it just like slopes off.
Right. And so where we had driven before, the tracks were because compacted snow onto ice. And so we didn't really have enough width to drive on top of this more snow to compact it to keep our path going, right? And so, long story short, we ended up staying in our newly acquired workshop, um, on top of essentially the storage loft. In the shop, it's a pretty good sized shop, but in the shop there's a wood stove. Outside the shop, it was 1 degree overnight.
That's
Inside the
so
shop, with
cold.
the wood stove blaring as hard as we could go, it was 46 degrees inside the shop. And
Does
so
the
we had a
wood
couple.
stove have a honeycomb on it? Like, how does it expel the heat off of it? I'm random question.
It's actually a pretty nice wood stove. So it's got like essentially your burning chamber,
Uh huh.
cast iron. It has a lot of thermal mass to it.
Yeah, I've got experience with wood
And then,
stoves daily.
right, and then there's a shell that has a blower motor on one end,
Okay.
right? And then out of the top of the shell, and I say shell because it's a box outside of the wood stove that has a double panel door on the front side, and then the blower motor on the back. It pulls air in at the bottom and blows it up over the wood stove compartment on the inside and out of
Oh.
some piping on the top.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
You're
there's but there's a set of baffles in the middle, right? So that like it will blow the air out that on off the back of the stove up and out of the ducting in the back, and then um if enough heat is generated, the air will move out and then out the second vent. So essentially it won't strip too much heat off of the wood stove too rapidly and blow cold air. You know
That's
what I mean?
cool. Yeah, no, no, no,
Yeah,
no. That's yeah. So ours is completely different. It's just a cast iron basin, and then we got one big tube, and then we've got this like box like you have, but
yeah.
ours is on the top of it, and it's just got honeycombs in it, so it doesn't extract heat off of the actual cast iron. That's cool. I've seen those before. Those things are like pricey
Yeah,
boys.
we essentially the property that we ended up with it was
Playground.
somebody else's workshop, like a space that they worked in.
Uh,
And so they spent money in the right places to make it a nice place to work, not just a nice place to keep things.
mm-hmm.
And so we're very fortunate to have kind of stumbled across the property. Um, it was not on the market very long. It was
Did
not
you
on the
get
market very
everything you
long.
wanted out of it?
No, we didn't get everything we wanted out of it, but we got some of the things we wanted at the auction.
That's what I was
One of the
getting
things
at.
we would have liked to have had would have been a tractor with a clutch, not a tractor that needed a clutch,
Oh,
because
I
the
got you.
tractor that at the shop I mean we can replace it, but
Oh,
it would have been super handy this past weekend to have been able to just hop on the tractor and go pull the forerunner out.
is it steep? Is it like you mentioned this driveway, and I'm picturing like this insanely steep driveway.
It's not insanely steep. I mean, they took a large propane powered forklift out of there on a flatbed tractor trailer, not in the snowy conditions,
Facts.
you know, but it's not, if it was unaccessible at that manner, we wouldn't have bought it because we want to take all our toys up there,
Right, right.
you know,
Right
put
on.
them in a nice building to store them in. So like we can't we're gonna have to do some work on the driveway to get probably my trailer up there loaded, but I'm not concerned with driving a B5 up the driveway or
Oh, nice.
taking an
Okay.
RS up the driveway. You
Okay.
know, we when we went and looked at it, we took her golf, and had no problems getting up there.
Right on.
But um I'm not trying to take a insanely lowered car up there without doing some kind of grading.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But anyway, that's beside the point.
On another note, though, it sounds like a perfect Christmas gift for Heidi would maybe be a little winch, 5,000 pound winch for the front of the Rover, or some studded tires. That might.
There is a there is a beefy there is a beefy winch on the front of the trailer that came with the property. Um, we can honestly say that we own a tractor trailer, and it's not like a semi rig. It is a tractor trailer. Like has a winch big on it. You could winch a tractor onto this trailer.
Oh, that's pretty
You
cool.
know, yeah. It's not a big tractor, but a tractor nonetheless.
Right on.
So, but the thing is, situational preparedness is what we've kind of ended up at, right? And so, in in a lot of our conversations, we talk about being aware of where we're at and trying to be aware of what we're trying to do in the situation that we're in. And sometimes, we so Heidi and I decided to take the Forerunner out to the property because it had snowed. Okay, we thought we were prepared. All right, we had gloves, we had boots, we had extra clothes, we had water bottles, we had a dog, we had a dog leash, we had a dog bed, we had a pillow. You know, all the things you think you're gonna need for an overnight trip at a hotel. We were set, but essentially what I've learned is, and this is more than just this weekend, but a life lesson in general. Whatever you think you're gonna need, add some more. Add some more. If you can add some more, do some more after that. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, what's the harm, really?
right. Like Heidi was packing her bag, before we left. And I'm like, what the heck? Why is she taking 3 pairs of pants? Why are we taking we're coming back tomorrow. We're going out, we're gonna look at the shop, we're gonna stay in a hotel. We're coming back tomorrow. We're gonna do 10 hours in a car, three
Yeah.
pairs of pants. Yo, as many times as we were falling in the snow trying to shovel shit around and move shit, guess who wishes they had a spare pair of pants? This guy. You know what I'm
Did you get
saying?
it?
So like
Did you get into one of her pairs?
no, I didn't. I could have,
You should
saying,
have.
you know. Uh,
Hey,
but
you
no,
know
I
they do
didn't
say body heat
wear any.
activate. Body heat is the best type of warmth in a sleeping bag. Boy Scout life
Mhm.
here, guys. For the record, Eagle Scout love. Um, you can cut best prevention. Like if you get somebody out, pull them out of the water. They say to strip down to your skivvies, get skin to skin, and get in the sleeping bag. It's the best type of thermal. Just saying. Anyway,
Yeah,
I mean, it's real
yeah,
shit.
dude. I'm I'm not trying to go. Look, we're
Hey,
not going on any boating adventures, Jack. Okay.
why not?
You know, I'm just saying I'm not trying to get you in my skivvies or
Oh, okay.
whatever.
Well,
I'm not
no.
trying to be your thermal barrier to death. Okay.
All right. Well, you talk about situational prep. You know, the for me, because we've mentioned it on the channel before, I have some very interesting adventures. Sometimes things happen out of nowhere. You know, the most recent one was the taking the RSX. You know, dude, I would have had to buy all the tools that I brought with me. I put everything essentially in a shoebox of what could go wrong with that, and was like, all right, it's a basic car, but like my point here is on a daily basis,
Are you
like
talking about the CRX or the RSX?
I said CRX.
No, you said RSX. We can check the tape because we're recording for a podcast here. But I knew what you meant.
Okay. All I'm saying is,
Project Snowball,
yeah,
leg one of its life. Missouri to you can catch that in one of our episodes from last season. But
we can
Project
probably pop a
Snowball.
card in here.
Oh, look at that.
Let me write a note down at the time so I can rough stamp it. So I don't,
Yes, situational preparedness, right? Look, all of your trips. I know you guys, our primary listeners, are car guys and car ladies. Then we know you all have cars that you like to take.
there might also be some car
All set of
kids.
tools will go a long, long way.
Yeah, it
Zip
really
ties, pliers, adjustable wrench, 10 mil, 13 mil, 17 mil, Phillips flathead,
crescent wrench.
pocket knife.
If you own a German car, I also add a set of Torx bits from Harbor Freight and a set of Allen bits to that, and you can disassemble the
Yeah,
whole car.
dude, I actually bought this. I don't have it handy. Um, it is a tiny like ratchet that's designed to fit the hex
Yeah,
bits
yeah, yeah.
that
I've
go
seen
in a
those.
screwdriver, right? But it's like barely palm size, right? So you can put your thumb on the head of it, and it's like you can ratchet it back and forth. But if you have to like put some a little
Leverage.
bit of torque behind it, you're not like cramping your wrist.
That's
And then
cool.
it's like it's still smaller than a screwdriver.
That's super cool.
Yeah, I'll before for our next podcast, I'll bring it up, put it on my desk so I can show you guys on camera for anybody that's interested. But
Start a new
um,
scene called
it was like $9 at Lowe's. Sometimes it had like 6 bits and the handle, but the bits are just your typical hex bits that go in a multi screwdriver.
That's cool. On a side
Legit.
note, we're talking about new tools. I've just ordered some new tools. I've got 2 TDIs in the shop.
Okay.
Uh, one I did remember we talked about that little intake flapper. Did I tell you about that? The
Hmm.
2015 code. The guys at Diesel Geeks that make that intake flapper. That thing's working perfect. Absolutely
Okay.
perfect. Um, and then for the listening world, the reason Steve and I talk about Volkswagens, TDIs, isn't just because we're car people, but because he actually owns a TDI. So
Mhm.
all the experience that I'm gaining, yeah.
Jack likes to throw in my significant other's fleet of vehicles in as my own, and they are not. They are hers and hers alone. She's an independent car dealer of her own. She doesn't sell anything. She only buys what she likes.
All right, so Heidi's TDI.
Thanks.
Yes, the intake flapper working perfect, 134,000. It got rid of the 2015, hasn't came back. The new one, the CP4 pump, the Doms, he did not put gas in it. It is diesel. The CP4 pump, actually, there's a giant recall about these things. So there's two variants of this pump, right?
Hold
Bosch
on, hold
makes them.
on. This giant recall on this thing that the dealer wanted to charge him $3,000 to fix.
Mm-hmm. 6,000.
Nice. Not
6,000.
whatever the dollar value was. I knew it was high,
Yeah.
but it was a recall item.
Um, it's not a
And
recall. Hold on. Hold on. I may have used a couple verbs out of turn. Let me rewind. So Bosch makes the pump that I'm talking about is called a high pressure fuel pump. Okay? Not like
yeah,
it's the one on the front of Heidi's engine, left-hand corner. Bosch has been making these for a while now. There's five different variants. CP1, CP2, 3, 4, and 5, right?
okay.
Different vehicles. Well, it doesn't matter if it's big trucks, big rigs, old diesel, German diesels. But the one particular pump I'm talking about is the CP4. And they make two variants, the CP4.1 and the .2. The .2 is big, like Chevy, Ford, Ford and Dodge. And they're the exact same thing as the CP1, the CP4.1, but the .1 is used on European diesel everything, right?
Okay.
The components of them are the exact same. The CP 4.2 pump, Ford is in a class action lawsuit over because by design, the cam follower inside of it, when the pump gets aerated, starts to rotate and spin on this cam loop. I'll pop a picture in here for the viewing audience of a bisection. And it starts to spin on the cam follower, which basically starts to eat the cam follower sideways, in
Okay.
turn releasing metal into the system and destroying the entire system.
Yeah, none of that sounds positive.
Yeah, none of it does. Ooh, what we're going down with Dom's is that I think they're full of shit. Insert two-step clip overlay for my cussing. Did you catch that on last week's?
Uh,
He didn't listen.
Perhaps.
You didn't listen to it, yeah.
I haven't gotten there yet, man. Look, bring us into another part of our main topic list for the week here in a second
Uh,
on why I haven't gotten around to listening to our uh
it's all good. It's all good.
last podcast
All I was getting
edit.
at is there's working on his car is bringing up a lot of really cool challenges for me. That's like the number one reason I like working on cars is love working on something new and different, but inside my field. And I get to buy tools as like a prize for figuring out what's wrong. I get to buy more tools. So that makes me excited. Anyway. Speaking of tools, what kind of tools do you think it takes to work on a Daca rally car?
Apparently these days just a laptop and a tire iron and maybe some tire changers and battery charger.
Big battery chargers, right?
Well, RS5 DTM powered battery charger.
I mean, it's like an 800-pound battery charger.
Yeah, the what Jack's getting at is the Dakar Rally. I don't even know what the classification was. Just a Dakar Rally car by Audi, right? So I don't think the race is over yet. They're on stage 8.
Yes.
Okay, and Audi has won 2 stages thus far. I think they're in the overall lead, and if they're not, they're very close. Um,
Right now, I was gonna say
Uh,
no. It's just you want me.
go ahead.
I was gonna give you the highlights from NBC
Go
Sports.
ahead. Yeah,
Oh,
that'll
okay.
work.
All right. So it says, I'm going to screw up his name, so I apologize for the world. Mantis Eskostrom scores first victory on a strong day for Audi.
Yeah, back up. Back up. Tell me where there's an N in that man's name.
Mattis. What did I say?
Man,
Mantis?
you said mantis like the
Oh.
like the spring. Yo,
My
I think
bad,
it's
my bad. So
IS extra.
Mantis Ekstrom. Mattis Ekstrom. Should I bring in the speech path to give us a
Not right now, but during the edit, yes.
Okay, we'll do an overlay for it. Mattis Ekstrom scores first victory on a strong day for Audi in the Daca Rally. Two-time DPN champion. He's drove to victory as the hybrid-powered Team Audi captured 3 of the top 4 spots in the 830-kilometer segment from Al Dawidin to Wadi Ad Samar in Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
No, so they're driving through.
That is not a yup saying that you pronounce that right. That is a yup. I know what you're talking about.
Oh. It says here his teammate Steven Pepperhan has finished 49 seconds behind him for second place. So Audi took the 1-2 punch in that.
What was his last name? You got me dying, man.
Pepper Hansel.
Peter Hansel.
Oh. My bad, dude.
All right, look. We're not gonna count on Jack to read anybody's name. If you in the future we're gonna do these kind of like live listener commenting sections where you can just ask us questions and stuff.
And
I'll be the
me?
one to read your name aloud on the air. For anybody that's wondering, doesn't want to be embarrassed. But yeah, in all honesty, man, when Audi enters something to go racing, you need to understand that they're funding the amount of money that they're willing to spend to compete in whatever it is that they're competing in is as much as anybody else in the world. And so I don't want to say that I expect them to win stuff when they go racing, but you got to know that they're going to be in the fight for sure.
I mean, don't ever underestimate them Germans.
Right.
Not to mention, who we talked about it before. I'm curious. So this is an electric vehicle. Like they have brought.
Yes. It's a hybrid.
Yeah, it's a hybrid. It's still electric. I mean, the motor does not attach to the ground. The engine does not attach to the ground, except for through wires.
Okay, but it's not. I mean, I get that it's electric. It's like the generator is built into the car.
Yes.
And it happens to be a DTM engine.
Yes. I mean, it is a hybrid. You're right. Whatever. It's still burning fossil fuels to go.
Yeah. No. I'm down. I'm totally down.
Can you imagine one day that they have figured... Excuse me. I wonder how much... Before I rant on that, how much power do you think they actually consume? Like, how many kilowatts do you think it costs to do that?
Oh, you mean like how much power need to be generated
to make that race? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a measurable thing. They could. I would love to ask that question.
Probably in one of these articles here, if you start reading.
Yeah, I'm gonna reply to him on Twitter and be like, "How many kilowatts did it take to run that race?"
Do you see where Chevrolet put out a EV Silverado?
Is that like the Hummer? Didn't they put out a Hummer or something?
Yes, but it's a actual like Chevrolet Silverado pickup truck.
I did not see that.
EV. And it kind of looks like the Avalanche, the old Avalanche. Remember those? but it's
Yeah, I do
also
remember
rated
those.
over 600 horsepower and all of the torque.
Ooh, interesting. I'm looking at this
Yeah,
picture right.
I'm not a big fan, but um,
Yeah.
so that announcement was this week, right? And it got me looking up some things. There was a study done on the Rivian um, electric truck that is either out now or in production at least, right? About
Okay.
the range. And apparently a big thing for the Rivian is the amount of range they have. And I don't, I haven't looked up the exact number. I'm not going to go that far. I'm not impressed by electric trucks. But when you're towing with an electric truck, the range goes to absolute garbage.
I'd believe that.
Like, I understand that I get the same kind of deal with my van. You know, the fuel tank is only so big.
But it
And when
doesn't
I'm
take
towing, what's that?
I was to say, but it doesn't take 24 hours to refill.
Right, right. So I mean, I guess it's coming eventually. There's going to be some breakthrough or whatever. But I
Oh,
honestly don't see how we're going to transition to a all electric semi freight system. I can only see us making it to a like diesel electric hybrid truck.
I think that would be the ideal. Okay. I'm going to edit the pause out here for a second because I had to stop and think. But my initial thought on this, first, that thing's freaking ugly. I just pulled it up. It looks like a weird twisted RoboCop. The EV, I'm looking at the Silverado.
The silver,
2020
yeah.
Car and Driver Magazine 2024 Chevy Silverado EV. Put a link in the description below for this thing. This thing is hideous. It looks like RoboCop lifted an Avalanche, had a baby with a Honda Element in the middle, and then took Chevy Impala 19-inch wheels and put 8 lug holes in them on Steelies. Like, this thing is, no, I'm sorry, this is hideous for a $42,000 estimated ETA. Yeah, no, I'm not even gonna read into. I'll read into that more.
Yeah, what's a estimated ETA is
Not
money?
ETA. The ETA was the wrong word. Sorry, the $42,000 estimate starting at.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, it says large battery pack is provided for 400 miles of range. DC.
Okay,
Like,
I, dude, I
supposedly
don't.
you can do 100 miles in 10 minutes though of charging on DC.
Okay, so in 40 minutes.
True. I'm just retracting my 1 day turnaround time thing. But here,
Yeah,
oh,
I know.
okay. On a side note, if you had the, you'd have to stop. How long does it take when you stop for gas? What's the fastest you get in, get out, filling the van up? Realistically, let's.
Realistically, 20 minutes.
Okay, so you're doubling your time. But what's your range on the van full, loaded, everything in it? That's what we're. That's the number we're playing here, right? Or what's your mileage? I mean,
No, I'm not.
I mean,
The range on the van, it's a 38 gallon tank, man.
the Yukon goes like 500 miles without tow,
Yeah.
so like you can go.
If I'm not towing a bunch of stuff, it's pushing 400 miles.
Yeah,
But when I'm towing stuff, it's 280 miles.
yeah. I was gonna say I'm about the. I think I'm like somewhere between. It depends on if it's hills.
My range doesn't get cut in half. And I know that we're gonna work the things out, but I don't see electric tow rigs.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Jack's ADD took over. I was trying to answer two. I was waiting to the end to say two different things. first one with the avalanche already said it. But as far as there's so many different infrastructure, like there's so many different ways you can attack that range problem on transportation on a big scale. Like hybrid diesel electrics, that's probably going to be a thing, like inevitably.
Yeah, I want a hybrid TDI. I wanna take a like Volkswagen 19 TDI, Prius drivetrain, and stuff it in CRX.
That would be cool.
See what kind of mileage we can get out of the.
Smaller though. You need a smaller package. They make smaller. If you're gonna go that route, you don't need as much power. Because the Prius driveline, it's the same thing. So we need like a 2-cylinder diesel. All we gotta do is drive. We need.
No.
Why?
No. No. I'm not giving it all up.
Not
I
all of
need
it.
some. I need some. I need it all. I need some.
You need to know you
Like,
have plenty.
let's be honest, dude. If you put a bone factory stickety stock Mark IV Jetta 19 TDI in a CRX, it would be fun to drive.
100%.
And
Stock.
you'd get 80 miles the gallon.
Totally. Oh my.
Anyway, dude, there's so many little subtopics for my that are in my head after this past week. But the one of the big ones that I think
Did you have a
I don't want to say
bathroom?
is, what's that?
Does the shop have a bathroom?
Yes.
That was nice.
It was 1 degree out and the plumbing was not turned on because it's a shop, not a house.
Right. It was probably winterized too.
Yeah. But burnout is a problem. Like exhaustion, burnout, over committing to things.
Being over
Uh,
demanded of.
yeah, there is a trend. I'm not talking about just me personally. Um, I have a very demanding job. At times, there are things that come up and are added to my schedule without a lot of notice, and I don't think a lot of people understand my job entirely. And sometimes the people that are asking me for things don't understand the amount of effort involved in producing the result that they're asking for. I'm very fortunate to have a very super tight, close group of like immediate coworkers that do understand what my job takes, and so like a lot of times I don't need to be like, oh, I can't do it. Somebody else is like, yo, timeout, this isn't realistic. But I, it's not just I'm I'm fortunate I can manage the expectations that are placed on me, but I think there's a lot of people in the world that don't manage the expectations placed on them necessarily as well as they should. And then they end up saying, "Oh yeah, I can get it done. I can get it done. I can get it done." On top of raising their kids, being the husband or wife that they're supposed to be, their typical household responsibilities, making sure the vehicles are licensed, tagged, insured, and inspected, and safe to drive the family to where they need to go, or making sure that there's so much shit put the two-step in. And
Sorry. Caught it.
no, you're good. You're good. But it's a trend amongst therapists and psychiatrists right now that they're seeing with what's been going on with COVID and the pandemic and all the stresses that's added to what was already a very stressful kind of thing to deal with, known as adulthood. We live in a society where most households require two incomes or more than two incomes from both parents to make ends meet. Things are not as affordable as they should be across the board. Inflation's getting worse. All of the things that parents and adults put on their plates right now and have forever, because parents and adults do the things that they need to do. Um, the exhaustion is a thing. Therapists and psychiatrists are seeing new patients, people that weren't on their spectrum of folks with mental health needs prior to the pandemic, or uh, it's essentially
Would you say
the
there's like a
COVID
pandemic PTSD?
not necessarily PTSD, but a side effect of all of the pressures added by COVID, is that people are literally breaking. They have
Interesting.
reached their breaking point. And the effects are extremely similar to depression. Like, oh, I just don't care anymore. And stop putting effort in. Like, oh, what do I need to absolutely barely get by? And it stems from years of doing everything you can and it not being enough. And then getting to the point where it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Now you want me to do more?
It's a serious problem, man. It's a
I
serious problem.
I hate to say it this way. I guess I understand burnout as like overuse, overwork, time management problems, but
Mhm.
I guess from my perspective and for all those listening out there and those watching as well, one thing that's majorly different, and I've mentioned this before, Steve Work comes from a corporate world. I don't. I've always been that I can have anything I want as long as I build it and I dream it. And I've put another way, I'm a jack of all trades. Not saying I'm a job jumper. I've invested my time in a lot of very interesting career paths along the way. But I I guess my style of how I load myself up, I I always am going. Like I get to that point where it's like from the moment I wake up in the morning, I start from dad mode into Uber mode to dad, date, dropping the kids off at school. Then I got to go straight into my 8 hour workday of running my shop, whether that was back when I was a personal assistant, whether it was a running, the dealership, whatever. So burnout for me looks more of like I just have to shut down and take a couple, like a day or so to myself and just recharge my batteries, realign what I'm doing. Like I guess I've never seen that. I don't know. Like I get there's those
Dude,
there's some.
I'm saying you might not see it. I'm just saying, if you look, read, whatever, it is not a made up problem.
I
I
don't.
think it's one of those. I think it's the part of things that irritating to me is I am old school, work harder. It's like, yo, like,
Yeah, like
shut up, work harder has always been like the fallback go to, like, oh, your problems aren't that bad, shut up, work harder. And I'm not saying that that's the way that we should think, 'cause it's not. You can't work yourself until you're broken, but
no,
uh
but our generation was definitely told, Steve, to work hard. Hard work pays off. They were always pushing us on hard work. When the real factor is in 2021, a 14-year-old kid can make $100,000 in a month consistently. Somebody can find a niche product to sell, and knowing what to look for can continuously copy pasta and do it once a month and make $1 million year two. Like there are
potentially.
those things out there.
Yeah, but you've got to be intelligent, you have to have some luck, you have to have some work ethic, there is a lot more than to it than just, oh, I'm gonna make $100,000 this month.
Agreed. All I'm
You
getting at
know,
is that hard work level that we were talking about does still matter. But yo, at what
yeah.
point is it excessive? Like companies are more and more demanding more. You remember the story about Kellogg's and the,
Yeah.
I don't even know. I think they're still on strike over there. Like it's all these companies during COVID when it was when it was at its high point, shutting down, demanding more and more out of employees. Like, how far can you push the the human psyche before it's like, no, I'm done. And that's what you're
I,
getting at, I'm assuming.
yeah. It's not one of those things where I can relate. That I'm saying I can relate to getting pressure from folks, and trying to get everything done. But in reality, I can't. I have a good set of coworkers. I have some stuff that I do at work that I really wish wasn't assigned to me, and I really wish I could get done faster, and I really wish I didn't have to put hours in, a little later. But when I accepted the role that I have, these are things that I knew could come up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like you as somebody that owns a repair shop, well, sometimes those emergency repairs that you'd rather not be working on from a client that has brought you cars in the past that really needs this thing done. Do you want to be doing it? Maybe not, but that's business, you know. Um, but there's what I'm saying is there's a lot of folks that live in in a part of society in which they cannot, or they can, but they haven't gotten to a point where they can increase their earning enough to get out of the cycle where they feel like they don't have to do every single thing that their employer deems them necessary, and employers are taking advantage of that. And you're getting people that are at the end of the workday are going home and they're literally walking in their door, falling in their bed, going to sleep, waking up, going to work the next day. They're not eating. They're like, and then this condition is of burnout has effects like depression. People lose a bunch of weight, their health goes to shit. Like it's I'm just saying it's something we need to be aware of. Not maybe not
That's,
you and I, but if you and I ever have employees, it's something we need to be aware of.
I
That
agree
like
there.
the
No,
work
I
life balance thing is a legit real thing that needs to be considered.
life
That's my
balance.
horse. That's all I'm saying, man. I don't have just my past week with shit that I've had been asked to do at work has been like, yo, burnout's a thing. I'm tired. I've been working hard.
I'll
So
take a break once in a while. You're
right.
good. All right. Well, we got one last topic that on our cheat sheet of list things. I get 1 minute on the clock to talk about crypto.
Yep.
I've been limited by the daycare.
Uh yeah, that was the last thing of the how's my week been and how it ended up being a whole podcast was that
Yo,
I I
it
recently I recently jumped in the crypto market because I sold a home last year. We didn't close on this other piece of property until this year. I didn't move everything over, but I had a little bit of money sitting in savings, and I was like, yeah, I need to, I want to put it somewhere. And Jack's like, crypto, 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 for a while.
I had to water that
And
seed. I'm
obviously, a lot
sorry.
of people around me, crypto, right? Okay. All right, fine, 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 fine. So I put a little bit of money in crypto um, before Christmas, and we're not talking about a ton of money. Okay, I'm not a wealthy man, but it is some enough that I'm going to pay attention to it, right? And so I am down after this week. I think a at 2 weeks maybe. I So from amateur crypto stash guy Steve to uh to you who's somebody that spent a little more time with it, what the hell has happened the last 2 weeks?
All right. First off, I'm just because we're going to talk about finances, I'm just going to put it out there. I am not a financial advisor.
Oh, right.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Correct.
I am a amateur. I dabble. I do a little mining. I do a little day trading, which it's a whole nother argument, a whole nother not argument, a whole nother topic on its own. But the
Yeah.
last couple weeks right now, the number one thing I can say is buy. Everything's on sale. Everything is on sale. You if
Right.
you're a, if you are a day trader, You buy when the market's down and you sell when it's up. You don't get attached. You leave your emotions at home and you treat it like a job. Um, and that's that. But if you're sitting there to invest, I mean, once again, now's a great time to buy. The two things that I would be buying, this is where I wrote this earlier down for myself so I wouldn't forget this. But I would be investing in anything involving in metaverse and gaming. Metaverse being that whole VR virtual reality for our listening audience. If you've ever seen the movie Ready Player One, VR, that life, that reality that's in that game is coming. Invest in gaming metaverse stuff. It's anything.
That hurts me. That hurt. I don't disagree with you, but it hurts me because like I get outside and play. It smells good in nature.
I agree. I 100% agree. Like, it bugs me that it's a thing. I just hope I'm not here to see it come to that insane fruition of no one goes outside anymore. Like, I already
Dude,
see it.
For those of you that of our listening audience that would like to go outside, April 6th through 10th, Jack and I will be at Fontana Village in near Deals Gap, North Carolina for Wookiees in the Woods 2022. Nature smells great. Come enjoy nature with us. We'll be doing some nature stuff.
Limited very limited cell phone reception around there. It's a perfect place to go camping. The other thing that's on my list. So I have two tokens that I would, if it was me, these are what I would be investing in. I already invest in both of them. I've already mentioned the metaverse. That's a utility. Another big utility token that's recently came up is about 4 weeks ago. GameStop released that Shiba is now a token that they are willing to take as a transaction. So you could buy a new PlayStation 5 with your Shiba, which is really cool because that makes it have utility. That brings the value of it up. And here, I'm not saying it's going to jump to a penny today or tomorrow. Like, don't take me the wrong way. There's a lot of logistics in the background of how blockchain and tokens and things like this work. But the fact that Shiba took utility, I would buy a whole bunch of it I'd buy a bunch of it now. Rewind, delete that. I would invest some money into it now, knowing that as it sits, a lot of people consider it a pump and dump. But if you're looking at it for a long-term position, I think it's at a cheap enough price and you can have a lot of it for a very little amount of money that you can sit on it for a long time without being concerned about losing. That's my 2 cents on it.
Okay, my question though, for the 1 minute of crypto, right?
Shit.
Yeah, we're past that, man. It doesn't matter. Like essentially the crypto market as a whole had a massive shrink.
Yeah.
Not just one or two major one. I'm talking like Bitcoin from 50K to 40K, Ethereum from 4K to 2500. Like those are two people that ones that follow, but like across the board there's a major shrink.
Okay, so you got a few different things that have happened in the last few weeks. First off, you have end of year closeouts. A lot of whales in the market closing out their positions because numbers are really high at the end of 21. Okay? That happens in all financial markets. It doesn't matter if it's digital markets or the stock exchange. That was happening everywhere. You mix that in with the fact of a lot of unknowns. I'm sorry, we'll get back to that because that plays into the psychology of things. But you also have a lot of people out there right now.
Do you want to hear Steve's theory?
Well,
crypto was hot for Christmas, and everybody gave everybody a little bit of crypto because crypto was hot for Christmas. And then all the broke people were like, God damn it, my credit card. This homie gave me crypto for Christmas. I'm going to sell that shit.
See, that would make sense to one or two tokens, but that doesn't. The only thing that matters to the end. Yo, that's some real stuff too. I don't doubt it. I do not doubt it. But it's hard. It's more difficult than you think it is to give somebody crypto. Like they got to have a wallet that's associated.
Yeah.
Like
no, man, I'm just kidding. was totally
I
just
know you
kidding.
are. Like, I would do that. I would give crypto to my friends and family, but I would give them things like Bitcoin or ETH, something that's easily exchangeable.
Yeah,
But
I think you should chop it off for the 1 minute crypto of the week.
all right.
Shit's on sale. Put some in your pocket.
Yeah.
We'll get back to some other topics, the psychology and whatnot, in later weeks, but for right now,
If you want a good long-term hold, fuck BTC. Get ETH. Buy Ethereum. Insert two-step. You have a better long-term ROI on ETH right now than Bitcoin. Unless you got a lot of money, then Bitcoin, there's people out there saying it's going to $1 million by the end of the year.
Yeah,
The,
so I am not quite half of my crypto holdings are in Bitcoin because
that's a good
stability,
number. Like 20%?
right? But I'm not playing with a ton of money, so it's all right.
Dude, my portfolio is crazy diversified. Crazy
Yeah.
diversified because I invest.
I feel like in the crypto market, it's too easy to be that way. But anyway, this is not a crypto podcast, right? We gave warnings ahead of this, but shit's on sale this week. We don't know Jack doesn't really know why, but buy some more.
Definitely a time to buy.
Yeah.
And just because the market, yeah, we're just gonna leave it at that. We're done. Crypto, we're over it. Buy.
Oh, with the crypto, Audi is gonna be victorious in the Dakar Rally. There's some, I don't know how many more stages we got left. The Daytona 24-hour Daytona race is coming up in 2 weeks. 24-hour Daytona race. We gotta stay up on that one.
Is there an Audi in that?
For any of our listeners that are on the Gran Turismo front on the PlayStation Network, make sure you follow S4RW_boss and come game with us. Catch me on the time trial boards. There's a little bit of fun with some of our followers there. Shout out to Brian B and Matt who put on some fasty boy times, and catch us
You're gonna make me
at
buy a
S4 Racers
PlayStation.
on Instagram and at Rowdy Audi on Instagram as well.
Steve,
What's
you're gonna
that,
make
bud?
me buy You're gonna make me buy a PlayStation because the only game I play on Xbox is Wait, can I play PlayStation on my PC?
I don't know. Is your PC a Sony with a PlayStation in it?
No, but you could have a Sony Vaio.
I don't know. I'm asking.
I'm just randomly asking because like I can play Forza on my desktop. Like without buying a PlayStation, I can't play GTA. I'm Gran Turismo.
You're the IT guy.
I don't play a lot of video games. I play a handful.
I I I skipped like 2.5 generations of consoles. So
I skipped
anyway,
all of the PlayStation consoles but the PS1.
that's all right. That's fair. That's fair.
Well, I think on that
Anyway, guys, catch us next week. We will upload every Friday at 12:01 a.m. on the
hot and
hot and
sticky,
something. I don't know,
hot and
man.
sticky. Just flow with it. Let it go. Let it flow.
Look, I'm gonna try to recover from COVID this week. Not that I'm under the weather that much, but
Brain
my
fog.
voice is sore and I got a little brain fog, and but we got some new and exciting topics coming up this in the next couple months. We got some projects that are going to be kicking off, and until then, Jack.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If the AI figured out a way to get you here, consider subscribing. All we do. Oh, whoa. Rewind. That's the wrong outro, wrong show. Well, guys, that is all the time we have for this upload of Real Talk Vlogs. Real Talk Vlogs, not blogs. And we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Later, guys.